हरी पलपन विसरे नहीं जो विसारी जुगल चरण सोल चिन्ह जेह नजर समीपे रहो अमारी एह श्री हरि कृष्ण महाराज ની જય શ્રી ઘનશ્યામ महाराज ની જય. Supreme Lord Entity, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Pujapad Guruji, and all of you devotees who are viewing this lecture, my humble Jai Swaminarayan. As all of you just witnessed that the pujan of Shikshapatri was going on just a couple of moments ago. But now, we're going to actually talk about what is the importance of this specific day. Today is an infamous day, and it's called VasantPanchami. It's also a Hindu festival, you can say, or a day, but more than that, in the Swaminarayan religion, it means more. It means a lot more. It's a gift from Shreeji Maharaj, you can say, this day. And there's three particular reasons why. First and foremost, Shreeji Maharaj finished writing the Shikshapatri himself on this day, Mahasud 5th, Samvat 1882. So that's why today is also known as Shikshapatri Jayanti. Second, it's the birthday of Sadguru Brahmanand Swami. And third, it's the birthday of Sadguru Nishkuran Swami. We can all say that these are all gifts from God to us. All these three components, or all these three things, are so vital to our fellowship that from them we have learned so many things. From them we have gained so much knowledge. And through them we still are experiencing more and more bliss from the Shikshapatri and these two Sadguru Santos. So that's why in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya, this is known as an auspicious day. So first of all, Vasant Panchami. Let's figure out the meaning of Vasant Panchami. Obviously the day, Vasant means spring. Spring meaning the season. Since every season has a changing time period, the season of spring will begin 40 days after today. So it's kind of like a marking period, you can say. It's the welcoming of the new season in 40 days. So this is just a beginning mark. There's no particular kind of other rituals performed on this day. But in the Swaminarayan religion, there is. And we just witnessed it a couple moments ago, but let's talk in depth about it to understand more about our Swaminarayan religion and its components. So, first of all, Shikshapatri Jayanti, that's the main day that is celebrated on this day. Particularly, this is when I, again, remind you, Shree Maharaj finished writing the Shikshapatri in Harimandap at Loyadham in Gujarat, India. What is the Shikshapatri? Let's take a look. Well, first, the Shikshapatri is a book of code of conducts, meaning, to make it simply, it's a book of rules. What to do, what not to do, how to behave, how not to behave, in all kinds of circumstances. We can say that Shriji Maharaj has written this book in such a way that it's bulletproof. If you behave in the same exact particular manner as Bhagwan has written, then one will not only get bliss in this world, but also bliss in the world after. So it's kind of like a foolproof. The book of conducts for society, you can say. It's a manual for mankind. Meaning, it's a manual just like how if you buy a phone, or if you buy a laptop, or if you buy any kind of things like a computer desk, it gives you a manual on how to make it or how to assemble it. In the same way, this is a manual to how to live our life. For time and time again, we have been spending this human body in the wrong direction, in the wrong way. You might think, how? Well, for so much time, we've been consuming things that we're not supposed to through the Vishays, through the Panch Vishays. And by doing this, we have only been destroying ourselves. Due to this, Shree Maharaj had to write a manual that will help all his followers and also non-followers to become more happy in this world. Such a precious gift, you can say. Such a gift that is beyond any kind of price. You can say it's priceless. But what I'm trying to get at is it's like a manual. Just like in Christianity, there was the 10 Commandments, rules of what to do, what not to do, or the Quran, which also has rules on how to follow. In the same way, in the Hindu religion, particularly in the Swaminarayan sect, this is such a manual written by God himself. Now, Shikshapatri, what does it hold? What kind of conducts? For who, let's say? Well, first and foremost, for male and female devotees, celibates, saints, widows, married women, acharya, the acharya's wife, householders, kings. These are just naming the main components. So by doing this, by following, you can say that, how does it pertain to me? Well, if you fall in the categories, you can definitely fit into what rules you have to follow. It also shows us the way of life, you can say. Daily duties on how to behave in society and in other circumstances. The Shikshapatri only contains 212 verses, but it is exposed to such where all of these categories, as I mentioned below, all fit into it. Meaning, if one line, then one line. If 10 lines, then 10 lines. Or verses, you can say. But everyone has something to do with this book. The language it's written in is in Sanskrit by Shree Maharaj and then translated into Gujarati by Nityanand Swami. But I'm proud to say that whoever has made the effort, there has been Shikshapatris translated in over 30 languages. So, if you want to read the Shikshapatri and if it fits, then you can find it online, or you can go to a temple nearby you, a Swaminarayan temple, and ask for it. So, this is also a gift, you can say, that it's been translated in so many languages that you can tell that many people are reading the Shikshapatri. It's a manual that is benevolent to all creatures on earth, according to Maharaj. Abiding by it gives righteousness, wealth, desires, and salvation. And Shree Maharaj also says inside the Shikshapatri that the Shikshapatri is his personified form, you can say. So, that's why we do the pujan of Shikshapatri. That's why you just saw the pujan, because it's not that we're only doing the pujan of a book, but Maharaj just said that it's his personified form. So we're actually doing the pujan of Maharaj himself through that book. In Vachnamrut, particularly Gadara, first chapter, Shree Maharaj says that the Shikshapatri, which I have written, should be read daily by all of my followers, renunciants, sadhus, males, and female devotees. So all should read this because it's beneficiary for everyone. Now, also the command of Bhagwan is that everyone in the morning does daily puja. So while doing the daily puja, at the end, one should read 5 verses from the Shikshapatri. This is a given. So you don't have to read outside of your time from puja, but in puja one can read, and one should read 5 verses in order to really guide oneself towards the right path, towards the path of righteousness, you can say. Well, the Shikshapatri was, when written by Shree Maharaj at that time, he had given a copy to Sir Malcolm, the governor of Bombay at that time, in Rajkot, and Shree Maharaj himself handed it to him. And I found a picture of that here particularly. You can see that in the picture, here's Sir Malcolm, and this is a Shikshapatri given to him by Shriji Maharaj, and these are his santos witnessing this moment. I mean, this is a huge turning point, because Maharaj was not only known in Gujarat, but Maharaj was also known by all throughout the world. And through giving this manual, many read it and many cherished it. And that exact copy of the Shikshapatri that Maharaj gave to Sir Malcolm, he housed it at the University of Oxford, and it's still there encasing. And this is the picture here of the exact copy of the Shikshapatri where Shree Maharaj gave it to Sir Malcolm, and Sir Malcolm, he placed it in a museum at Oxford University. If someone wants to go there and visit and have the darshan of the Shikshapatri, it is possible today. So that's why this day is so infamous, and that's why this day is very auspicious for all devotees. But something more interesting I want to talk about. Yes, we've reviewed all the facts of the Shikshapatri, how many verses it contains, what it's about, what it does. But something amazing, something very interesting that I found was that the Shikshapatri is the only scripture written by God himself ever. Meaning there has been past incarnations like Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, and other, you can say, incarnations or gods. But they have never written any kind of books or manuals or anything of that particular type. But the supreme entity arrived on this earth and wrote himself the Shikshapatri and gave it to all of his devotees, making the Shikshapatri extraordinary. Meaning the Mahabharata and the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and all these books were written, but not directly by God himself. They were heard and then written later on at some point in time. But the Shikshapatri was written by Shriji Maharaj himself in his own handwriting, and then it was made copies by his saints and disciples and was given to people at that time. So this is why it's so famous, and this is why it's so extraordinary for all of us devotees. So that's my first point, the Shikshapatri Jayanti. Now second, it's also the birthday of Sadguru Brahmanand Swami today, on Mahasud 5th, Samvat 1828 particularly. Brahmanand Swami was, you can say, a versatile genius. How? Well, he was well educated in the fields of poetry, music, and arts. He composed 19 texts in his time and over 8,000 hymns in various languages. Meaning hymns, meaning kirtans, or even more simpler, songs, we can say. He composed over 8,000 of them. And today we can see in the Swaminarayan sect that many sing his kirtans. And an interesting fact is that Shriji Maharaj himself has said that whoever sings with devotion 100 kirtans of Brahman Swami every day will get the darshan of myself. Meaning, what kind of, you can say it's very hard to attain the darshan of Bhagwan. But how kind is Bhagwan to say, and how great is Brahmanand Swami to write hymns describing his figure, describing the nature of Bhagwan, describing how Bhagwan lived in his life, throughout his life. And such a gift was given to all of us. And you can say it's kind of like a freebie from Bhagwan, that if you just sing 100 kirtans with your heart every day, then you will receive the darshan of myself. So besides that, he also constructed the temples of Vartal, Junagadh, and Muri. And more than ordinary, he was also known as the friend of Bhagwan. He had a sense of humor, and through that, he had a friend relationship with Bhagwan himself. So we celebrate this saint's birthday today, and we can cherish his works, and we can cherish all his kirtans on this particular day. And third and finally, it's Sadguru Nishkaran Swami's birthday as well. Swami is personified for strong non-attachment for everything except God. He is also the author of the Nishkaran Kavya and Bhakti Chintamani, two books that are very famous in this Swaminarayan Sampradaya and which almost everyone reads. He was also the author of the first scripture in the Swaminarayan sect, known as Yamdand, which is a part of Nishkaran Kavya. Nishkaran Kavya consists of 22 smaller books, and Yamdand is just one of them. But that's the first one he wrote, and it was the first scripture in the whole Swaminarayan sect at that time. Now there's many, but particularly this was the first one. He wrote many hymns and kirtans describing the mortal nature of worldly pleasures, the inescapable severe pains, and the sufferings in this world. Meaning, due to his non-attachment, all he really perceived was God, and all he really demised was this world. And through that, he is known as Vairagya Murti, or the idol of non-attachment. But this was just Swami's life in brief, and Brahman Swami's life I only mentioned in brief. But more than that, the reason why we even talk about these saints today, it has a far more deeper meaning, you can say. When we look inside the life of such kinds of saints, we can understand how Shree Maharaj wants us to be like. We can understand how Shree Maharaj expects us to become. And through seeing the life of such kind of saints, we can make our life in that way too. So they're kind of like our role models. Bhagwan Swaminarayan brought 500 saints down from Akshardham with him, and in particular timing, in that time area when Bhagwan was around or before. But through these 500 saints, the kinds of work they did, meaning through illustrations of books, or through preaching devotees, or through making great saints, this kind of work we will never be able to see again. Nowadays, we have technology. Nowadays, we have much more. But the kind of efforts those saints made, the suffering those saints took for us, are priceless and unmatched. So that's why, along with Shikshapatri Jayanti, we also celebrate the birthdays of such saints because of their efforts for all of us. So today, I want each and every one of you to thank God for giving us this priceless gift of the Shikshapatri, a manual for all of us, the priceless gift of both Sadguru Nishkaran Swami and Sadguru Brahmanand Swami, bringing them on this earth and giving us these precious kirtans, books, and knowledge most important for all of us, so we can also attain God. So saying this, if you haven't done the pujan of Shikshapatri at your home, it's not too late. Do so, and also follow and read the Shikshapatri, because it's a manual which is beyond this world, you can say. Hare Krishna Maharaj Ni Jai. Shripatim Sridharam Sarvadeveshwaram Bhaktidharmatmajam Vasudevam Hare Madhavam Kesavam Kamadam Karanam Swaminarayanam Neelakantham Bhaje. Hare Krishna Maharaj Ni Jai.